The blue wave of Toronto fans have arrived, and even longtime Seattle proprietor Mick McHugh of FX McCrory's and a Seattle U alum has brought out the welcome mat. Our friends from up north, as we welcome you down here to Safeco Field, where these fans, they are ready to rock and roll here. This is going to be a fun matchup with the Blue Jays in town. Always a festive occasion. 3 big games here as the Mariners taking the field in their northwest green here at Safeco Field with the roof covering us here this evening. Welcome to Mariner Baseball, everybody. Dave Sims along with Mike Flowers and the Root Sports crew. Sam Gaviglio gets the start tonight to open up this series. Let's take a look at the batting order that the Blue Jays have put together by John Gibbons.
And Sam will try to keep them in the yard. The Blue Jays 5th in home runs. Kevin Pillar going to lead things off for the Blue Jays. He was 7 for 14 in the first series with a home run. So you want to keep the leadoff hitter off the bases if you can. Justin Smoke, an all-star first half for him, leads the club in 17 home runs and 42 RBIs. Russell Martin was not in the first series, back in the lineup tonight. He will bat 7th for the Jays. For Sam again, you can see 4 starts, 2-1 record, a 3.13 ERA. Fastball right around 88 miles an hour. You're going to see a slider quite a bit tonight. Really good command. He's going to throw a lot of strikes. Pitched against the Blue Jays in Toronto, a couple of innings, gave up 1 solo home run to Justin Smoke. And a look at the defense. Rod Dyson will be in center field. Ben Gamble has really played well. He is going to be in right. Your shortstop tonight is Taylor Motter, Danny Valencia at first base, and Mike Zunino will do the catching. For Gaviglio, his last start against the Rays, 5 innings, 4 hits, just 1 earned run at 6 strikeouts, 90 pitches in that outing.
Well, we talked about this series for the longest time. Once we saw it on the schedule, get your tickets. Well, certainly the Toronto fans have, and big crowd here tonight, and an even bigger one for tomorrow. Right now, looking like about 30,000, and probably a real possibility of 40,000 plus tomorrow. Since we last saw the Blue Jays, boy, did they do a number on the Mariners. The Mariners have gone 13-10 since then. The Blue Jays have gone 12-10 during that time.
I think if you look at the series against the Blue Jays when the Mariners were swept, they only scored 6 runs in the 4 games. That's when Robinson Cano went on the disabled list and the offense really struggled. So we'll see how things go in this series now that Robbie is healthy and Nelson Cruz back in the lineup.
That is big news, having Big Nelly back in action tonight after aggravating his calf problem. Here we go. Sam Gaviglio, first pitch to Pillar, is in there for called strike 1. James Hoy has balls and strikes tonight. Jeff Kellogg at first, Clint Fagan the umpire at second, and Tim Timmons at third. And Gaviglio pumping in strikes. 61 degrees. Winds are calm, and the roof extended covering us up here. Blocked by Zunino.
Couple of good fastballs from him at 90. His average this year 88 miles an hour. Just with that curveball.
Blue Jays in the American League East in a jumble right now. They're in last place, 6.5 back, but they've made a move. They've improved since we saw them. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's John Gibbons, his second tour of duty as skipper for the Blue Jays. Got him to the American League Championship Series last year. Cleveland beat him. Here's a 2-2 to Pillar. And it went in front of the plate. And a tag applied. Now a conversation. Pillar no beef.
Pretty good slider. Is going to be down off the plate. He hits it right off the end of the bat. You see it right on the plate. Heads up play by Mike Zunino.
Second time I think in the last 2 years we've seen a play like that.
So many times the catcher won't get to it in time, and it'll spin backwards and be a foul ball, but that was not the case. Pretty good slider by Gaviglio.
Tell you what, he's a good guy to get off the base pass.
Yes. And he caused a lot of problems for the Mariners in Toronto.
There's one of several guys we didn't see last time. MVP Josh Donaldson coming off 2 calf injuries, one in spring training and one early in the season. He missed about 38 games. Blue Jays come in having lost 2 out of 3 in Oakland.
'70 at bats, 7 home runs for him. Always a dangerous hitter.
2-0 from Gaviria. Josh 1 for 2 a couple of nights ago. Bautista on deck. Jays won at Oakland 7-5. With Donaldson going 1 for 2, a home run and 2 runs batted in.
And another good slider from him.
Gaviria has been very impressive. 2-2. Valencia, former Jay, race to the bag. He wins it. Donaldson, like Cruz, taking it day by day, step by step in terms of busting it down the line, trying not to re-injure that calf injury.
But a good play by Danny Valencia. He's been a hot hitter for the Mariners, but he's played some defense all year long. Able to range to his left to get the out.
2 outs. Ball's not got out of the infield. Struggle for Bautista. 228, 10 homers, 28 runs batted in. Last year he had 234 with 22 homers and 69 runs batted in.
Even when he is struggling, he typically will handle the pitch middle in. If you're going to pitch him inside, and I think you need to at times, you have to pitch in off the plate so you can go back to the slider. First pitch breaking ball, he missed with it.
5-time All-Star 1-0 pitch.
Good fastball in the outside corner.
Big crowd here as anticipated. 1-1. Should have deserved that one. Top of the zone. Three and 1. 321 career home runs. There's Kendrys Morales, 2-time Mariner. One from Gaviria. Breaking ball, and he missed. So Donaldson, like he was trying to make contact with his former teammate with the A's, Danny Valencia, and Danny took a look back at him. Didn't even touch the bag.
I think he was having some fun with him.
Shot we had him, and he was laughing in the dugout. Here's Morales. First Kendrys with the Mariners in 2013 and 2014. 15 and 16 seasons with Kansas City.
Having a good year, 254, but 11 home runs for him.
Third on the club in homers behind, like that second in homers behind Smoke. Look out. Smoke with 17, Morales with 11. Bautista with 10 home run leaders for Toronto. Shift on for Morales. Cano out short right field. 1-0 pitch. Good year for Kendrys with the 13 Mariners in 156 games, 23 homers, 80 runs batted in. One pitch. Bautista 3 for 3 in base stealing. Anticipate him making a move here. Foul pass, first base coach Tim Leiper and Luis Rivera coaches at third. Jimmy.
Gavilio, 18 pitches, 9 strikes, so not as sharp as we've seen him. Trying to get through this first inning.
Right now at 18, he's better than the 31 that Bergman threw yesterday. Bergman was able to go 5. Keeping Mariners very much in the game. 2-1 loss to the Twins last night. Gavilio. And a 1-2 pitch here to Morales. And blown by Valencia off the sideboard. Gamble has to come in there. Will hold Bautista at third. Morales not a fast runner. So first and third for the Blue Jays with 2 outs here in the first, and to bring up Justin Smoke.
Pretty good pitch. He wants to go to the inside corner and elevate the fastball. He's able to do that. It's above the belt on the corner. But Morales gets the barrel to it. Just inside the bag for a single.
That's going to bring up former Mariner Justin Smoke. Big Smokey is second to Aaron Judge in home runs in the American League. 5th in runs batted in with total bases with 117. And 4th in runs batted in. He is having a sensational year. Smoke 265. 13 of his home runs have come against right-handers.
A couple of home runs against the Mariners in Toronto earlier this year. It'll be interesting to watch how they pitch him in this series. When he was in Seattle, a lot of clubs like to pitch him inside and then bounce the breaking ball.
1-0 pitch. Takes he had 2 home runs Wednesday night, batting left-handed opposite field, deep left center field in Oakland. 3 for 5 night. He's ahead in the count here, 2-0. Stepped off as Bautista made an aggressive move down the line.
Well, Seager is out at the shortstop position because of the defense alignment. Nobody close to third. Trying to pitch him inside. Missed with a couple of fastballs.
3-0. Troy Tulowitzki. Didn't see him last time either.
As hot as Smoke has been, he has the green light to swing here.
4-pitch walk. So Gavilio gets a couple of ground outs. Walk, base hit, walk, and the bases are loaded for Troy Tulowitzki.
So far this year, is Mel Stottlemyre Jr. running out to the mound. He hasn't walked more than 2 batters in an outing, much less 2 in an inning like he has here in the first. 23 pitches, 10 strikes, 5 batters, 1 first pitch strike.
Well, since these guys came back, look at the numbers put up by Donaldson. 293, a lot better than Tulo. 5 homers, 9 ribbies. So slow start from Tulowitzki. Water now for Sam Gavilio. All-time All-Star with the Rockies. Bases loaded here for Tulo. And first pitch strike.
Blue Jays hitting .223 as a team with runners in scoring position. They have struggled. A lot of their scoring coming with the home run, again 5th in the American League in home runs.
Second full year in Toronto for Tulo. Traded back in 15 from the Rockies. Started the year as a career .292 hitter. Bouncing ball goes to Motter. Short way, Cano. Threat dies right there. They leave him loaded at the Triangle Pub earlier. Blue Jays fans getting fired up. Mariner fans pretty fired up too. Their ball club's playing well, and we're going to see him swing the bat when we come back. Well, the forecast called for a lot of Blue Jay fans, and they didn't disappoint. They started arriving Wednesday and Thursday for this one. Ben Gamble's going to lead things off for the Mariners, and he's on a good roll, hitting at .312. Here's a look at the rest of the batting order.
Mariners fourth in hitting, third in runs scored, and Ben Gamble drove in the only run for the Mariners last night, as Dave mentioned, hitting .312 on the year. Nelson Cruz, the DH, and in the cleanup spot, has missed the last few days. Good to have his 14 home runs and 46 RBIs back in the lineup. Gerard Dyson will hit eighth in the lineup. He had a triple and scored the only run for the Mariners last night. Biagini this season, 6 starts for him, a 1-4 record, but a 3.31 ERA. He's a ground ball pitcher. Heavy fastball at about 94 miles an hour. Has a cutter and a curveball to go with it.
First pitch to Ben leading up in the dirt, ball 1. Nice to see some good turnabout this weekend here for the Mariners against the Blue Jays. Roughed them up in Toronto. This one skied way up there. Donaldson makes the play.
The Blue Jays 7th in fielding percentage in the American League. Kevin Pillar, one of the best in the business in center field. Josh Donaldson is back in the lineup at third base. Troy Tulowitzki also at shortstop. They missed them for a while, and Russell Martin will do the catching.
Brings up Guillermo Heredia, 2 for 4 in last night's game. .284 hitter, 4 home runs. 10 runs batted in. Gamble and Dyson have played outstandingly in the outfield. Strike 1.
Mariners are able to see Biagini in Toronto. He went 5 innings. Pitched well, gave up just 4 hits, did not give up an earned run in that outing.
That's a foul. 0-2.
As I mentioned, he started in the bullpen this year. Thought maybe he would be a starter for him going into next season. Sanchez went on the disabled list and he had to go into the rotation. Finally stretched him out in his last outing against the Yankees. He threw 100 pitches for the first time this year.
Blue Jays started the month of June splitting series at home against the Yankees. Go to Oakland, lose 2 out of 3. Breaking ball. 1-2.
6 starts this year. His ground ball percentage has been at 64%. It's a heavy fastball at 94. His cutter is at 90. And a really good curveball, 79, 80 miles an hour.
1-2 to Heredia. 2-2. We get swept like the Mariners did last May. Coming into a game like this, what's the mindset? Is there something guys talk about? Hey man, we got to get these guys back.
I think what the Mariners are probably thinking is that we're a different ball club right now. Robbie's back in the lineup. Nelson is in the lineup tonight, and we've been scoring a lot of runs, something they struggled in Toronto to do, just 6 runs in 4 games. So I think they feel like they're probably a different club. And offensively, I think they're going to try to take it to the Blue Jays.
Guys talk about that stuff though. Hey man, they drilled us last time. I mean, they're back and forth. You talk about that kind of stuff.
Not a lot. It's mentioned probably. Maybe Scott brings it up. A little extra motivation for the guys. But I think for the guys themselves, again, you just keep moving on. And they also know the Blue Jays have been playing well lately.
Strike 3 called. That's a pitcher's pitch too.
We'll take a look at right on the outside corner at the knees. Pretty good fastball.
How many times you've heard a hitting coach say, you know what, you're not going to hit that anyway.
May as well take it. Especially when it's sinking like that. Not going to do much with it. The Blue Jays this year are 7th in ERA.
Tip your cap, go get him next time. There's Robbie Cano.
Make sure you don't miss the earlier fastball in the count. Put him in play early.
Mr. Cano 1 for 4 last night. A couple of unfortunate errors. Ball ran off his glove and then he threw it away. A double error on the play and cost the Mariners a run. They wound up losing 2-1.
That was unusual because he came into the game with just 1 error on the year.
Flawless, and he's turned a lot of base hits into outs. There's some nifty double plays.
You look at his overall numbers, 11 home runs, 37 RBIs. Those are solid. 281 batting average for him. I'm not sure that we've seen anybody hit the ball as hard as he has and hit into bad luck, including the play by Buxton last night, taking extra bases away from him.
That was amazing.
Would have been able to drive in at 1, if not 2 runs. It's a great
Buxton
play.
made a great play. The ball was taken off on him. Extra set of gears, and he made a heck of a play in center field. 0-2 to Robbie. Swing and a miss. He's gone. So the Mariners in the first. Good crowd, good atmosphere here at Safeco. These guys will do anything for laughs. I don't think that's a. Oh, good. I hope that insurance is paid up. I know your insurance in Canada is pretty good. You may need it, pal. And then there's the Blue Jays coming to Seattle. This is what happens when the gates at Safeco Field are now open. That's what it looks like. And they make their presence known. Tell you what, they cheer batting practice like it was 8th inning in Game 7 of the World Series. I love it. Tremendous fervor. Here's Russell Martin to lead it off. Fouled off when we were last engaged with the Blue Jays. He had a neck and shoulder nerve issue on the left side of his neck, so he wound up missing a significant amount of games. For Russell Martin, this is just game number 36 for him.
Gavilio with 25 pitches in the first inning, 12 strikes, was able to get out of a bases loaded situation. And hopefully he'll settle down. Typically he throws a lot of strikes.
Well, he looked good getting the first two guys, couldn't get it out of the infield. Walk, base hit, walk loaded him up, and then he got a ground ball to get out of it. He's got Russell Martin, Ezekiel Carrera, and Ryan Goins, bottom third of the order. Three and one to Russell Martin, four-time All-Star, twice with the Dodgers, once with the Yankees, once with Toronto. On deck, hitters Carrera, the left fielder. 12th year of the bigs for Martin. 3-1. And another walk by Gavilio, his third.
And a good pitch. Well, a couple of pitches in the first inning that were called balls. It looked like they were going to be strikes. James Hoy missed that last pitch.
Here's Carrera. Swinging a pretty good bat. It's in for his last 26 over a 10-game stretch. Hitting well against right-handers too. Sands up high with that pitch. Look, first two batters look like he had really good command, and things slipped away here.
Looks to me as if he's really struggling with his breaking ball. He'll be able to throw a slider for a strike on the outside corner. Missing down and away with it. From what we've seen from him this year, throwing strikes is typically not a problem. Like 31 pitches now, just 13 strikes.
Seager in on the grass at third. There's a strike. 1-1. Carrera, 29 years old, out of Venezuela. There's 1-1. Breaking ball for strike, 1-2.
Well, that was a good curve ball. Went away from the slider and used the curve.
Carrera's been around Cleveland, Philly, Detroit, now second year with the Jays. 1-2 pitch, infield double play depth. Two and two. Two and two. And it gets through Zunino. Martin just second.
That'll be a pass ball. And this is on a fastball. Inside corner, reaches back, and Mike just misses it. Typically he will handle that.
So now runner in scoring position. Big pitch, runner at second, nobody out. Off the glove of Valencia. Getting the hold at third is Russell Martin, so the Blue Jays threaten again. They've got runners at the corners, nobody out.
Base hit. And he hits it hard. He gets a fastball right in the middle of the plate, barrels it up.
So it's going to bring up Ryan Goins.
The good news is Martin had to hold at second base. Wasn't sure if Danny was going to make the catch or not, so not able to score.
Goins, a fourth-round pick back in '09, fifth year with the Jays. That's what he's done this season. Gavilio needs outs. Back with the scramble is Carrera. It's amazing how things can change. Gavilio looks so good the first two hitters and been a struggle ever since. Oh, Danny stumbles. Heck of a pick by Motter. So they get one out, give up a run. The fielder's choice RBI for Goins.
That was strange.
Very.
Good news is he's up walking around. You take a look at it as he goes to make his pivot. Oh, he stepped on his toe with the heel. Got his spike in right into. Watch him turn right there in his spike into his left foot. Good play by Motter.
Oof, that's a great pick.
Yes, it is.
A 1-0 Jays, top of the order. Here's Pilar again. Foul tip. Boy, that was unfortunate. My goodness. Thinking double play all the way on that one. Lard dribbled one right in front of the plate. Zanino jumped on it, tagged him for a quick out.
Kind of a strange inning.
Very.
Gavilio still struggling with his command. You get the pass ball from Mike. You typically don't see that. A line drive off of Danny's glove, and then he spikes himself trying to turn a double play. Again, fortunately, he's okay.
Gavilio ahead 0-2.
With all of that, if you can make a good pitch here, get a double play and get out of the inning, giving up just the one run. When you go back and you look at the first two innings, that's some pretty good pitching, but it's cost him a lot. 40 pitches, 19 strikes.
Cano and Motter set for 2. 1-2 pitch here to Pilar. Pilar, one of the real acrobatic center fielders, covers a lot of ground. Said to hear about Kevin Kiermaier of Tampa Bay, a very good center fielder. He got tibia problem out 2 months.
Dallas Keuchel back on the disabled list.
The injuries this year, the volume has been incredible. I mean, it almost seems that here we are. This is game 62 for the Mariners, 61 for Toronto, and it's almost like the injury list is the same or no worse than the NFL.
Well, I wonder how much if the 10-day disabled list, the change has made it seem that way. In other words, guys normally wouldn't go on the disabled list because it would take them 5 or 6 days and they try to play through it. But with the 10-day disabled list now, I think a lot of clubs are taking advantage of it. I think that was the case with Cano. I don't think Cano would go on the disabled list if it was going to be more time for him. Well, we know watching him over the years, he wants to stay in the lineup and play every day.
They certainly have taken advantage of it because
Yes.
man, the headlines that come through on the hour are amazing. 1-2.
You mentioned it earlier with Bergman last night going to 5 innings. The Mariners ended up using 4 relievers. And at 43 pitches for Sam here in the 2nd inning, bullpen's going to get some work again tonight.
2-2 to Kevin Pillar. Hit hard down to Seegers. The double play they were looking for. Rackham survived, giving up just a 1 run. When we come back, Nelly Cruz makes a return. Medicine by your local Toyota dealers. For all Toyota offers, go to buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. 1-0 Blue Jay lead. We come to you above the A and Safeco Field. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, Root Sports Group. Big crowd on hand, as you can see. Roof covering us up here. Nelson Cruz a return after sitting out the last 2 days. Aggravated right calf muscle, swing and a miss. Now he was riding a 4-game hitting streak, 8 for his last 13.
Biagini looked good in the 1st inning. A couple of strikeouts for him. Needed 11 pitches, 8 strikes.
Cruz to be followed by Seager and Valencia, 4, 5, and 6 here in the order for the Mariners. Mariners had a 5-game win streak ended last night. They're 6-2 in the homestand. Won 9 of their last 11. Hanging up for the left fielder, Carrera. One away. Seattle Metropolitans, 1917 Stanley Cup champions. He shoots, he scores. I saw somebody with a Stanley Cup out there. It's a power play goal. Hall of Famer Sam Rose of the New York Rangers. Dan Kelly, great hockey announcer. Passed on, used to be the voice of the St. Louis Blues. He's one of my favorites going way back. Kyle Seager. Seager 4-game hitting streak, 6 for his last 15. His batting average up to 264. 1-1 to Kyle. 0 for 2 first time he saw Biagini. Put the shift on for him. Ryan Goins out short right field. 1-1 pitch. On into the gap. Carrera in front of the 376. Get ready to move and groove to the greatest dance songs of the last 40 years. Friday, June 23rd, Dancing Through the Decades Fireworks Night, presented by T-Mobile. It all takes place following the Mariners-Astros game, so get your tickets at mariners.com. Biagini being very efficient with his pitches. 2 quick outs here in the Mariners' home second. Brings up Danny Valencia.
Look at the scouting report for Biagini. He's going to use his fastball first time through the lineup. As he moves along in the game, he'll start to mix in his curveball more, and that has been the case. A lot of fastballs from him. Another one.
Strike 1 to Valencia, looking to break an 0 for 7.
So he has some pretty good sink to it tonight. And his ground ball percentage is 64%.
Impressive. Ooh. If that not get called a strike. One and 2 to Danny. 2 out, nobody on. Recent run by the Mariners. Valencia been on a hitting tear using the entire field. 1-2. Breaking ball and a good one. Tag applied by Martin. Biagini 6 up 6 down. 3 strikeouts in the mix. He's got a 1-0 lead. Unlimited baseball break. How about this? Most home runs since the year 2010. And Jose Bautista Nelson Cruz in this game here tonight. Miguel Cabrera, Edwin Encarnacion, and Albert Pujols. Right now, I want to welcome back Prostate Cancer Foundation Chairman Michael Milken. Good to see you again. Your annual visit.
Great to see you.
Good to see you, Mike.
Beautiful ballpark.
Yes, indeed.
You've been busy making the rounds.
We have. No, we've seen them all, and there is no ballpark more attractive than this one in Major League Baseball.
Well, right now, Mike, it's always a pleasure to talk. Both of us are prostate cancer survivors. Good to talk about awareness, and your program's outstanding. Raised a whole lot of money. Here's nicely done by Motter. Beautiful play. Robbing Donaldson. Let's talk about your involvement in the foundation with Major League Baseball, the annual campaign. You guys raise a lot of money and do a
We
fabulous
do,
job.
and as you know, the idea was keep dad in the game. Come out to the ballpark, tell your dad, your coworker, your buddy to get tested, that simple blood test for prostate cancer. Started 22 years ago with Major League Baseball. And today, 22 years later, there's almost 1.5 million men alive because of new therapies, 6 new drugs approved, and early detection. So it is this awareness program with the Mariners and baseball has made quite a difference.
I think the relationship with baseball has been outstanding. It really has. And so many guys. Julio Cruz is recently has been a survivor. Ron Gardenhire with Arizona. There's been a lot of guys.
We saw him this week, and Joe Torre. He's doing great. Joe Torre, Dusty Baker, Frank Robinson, and others. But with 1 in 8 men going to be diagnosed with prostate cancer, we're not rare, unfortunately. And the key was the great American pastime, baseball. Come out to the game and get tested.
There's a long drive way down the line and gone off the bat of Jose Bautista. His 11th home run, and the Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. 29th RBI for Bautista. Got it on a 2-2 pitch. And yes, we're in Seattle, but the Blue Jay fans are in force.
And I think it's going to be on the slider, trying to get it down and away from him. It is down, but not quite far enough away as he barrels it up right down the line. Talked about it in his first at bat. He really wants to pull the ball. He's been struggling lately, but squared that up.
Well, as you know, every home run hit in Major League Baseball between June 1st and June 18th, we raise money. You can go to homerunchallenge.org and learn all about it. At the rate we're hitting, we're estimating about 550 will be hit. Now, that was one. We need Seattle to hit a couple more tonight here.
You're here. No question about it. 2-0. And the fact that you do it on Father's Day, following up with on the women's side with breast cancer awareness, the fact that you have this on the front burner now, and so many guys are aware of it now, it means the world.
It was amazing. I have been funding cancer research for 20 years. Knew a lot about breast cancer, melanoma, knew nothing about prostate cancer when I was diagnosed back in '93, and it's changed dramatically. And this is the greatest awareness program we have in America today.
This is Kendrys Morales, 2-2. How can the fans get involved here with your program?
They can go to homerunchallenge.org. You can pledge money. A dime, if there's 550, is $55. $1 is $550, and get involved. And it'll also teach you what have we learned over these 22 years. One, we've learned that nutrition can play a significant role. We have a clinical trial going on in Philadelphia right now that the only treatment is nutrition. So you don't have surgery, you don't have radiation, and it's called active surveillance. And we've been looking at least a quarter of the men, their cancer starts shrinking, and in some cases disappears, just by changing your diet. And you can learn about that at pcf.org.
Yeah, and some of the foods that maybe you want to stay away from in that regard?
Charred food. Probably reduce your dairy somewhat. And by the way, I don't know if the fans know this, our traveling group that goes to all 30 ballparks, Seattle's been voted 2 years in a row the best food in the major leagues.
There we go. Here's a ground ball up the bat of Smoke. Valencia will take it, and that'll be out number 3. Mike, good to see you as always.
Thank you. Good health to you. And
thanks for everything you do.
Homerunchallenge.org.
There we go. Michael Milken here, Prostate Cancer Foundation Chairman. Jose Bautista has extended the Blue Jay lead to 2-0. Back with more right after this. This weekend in Seattle, and the Seattle Children's Playfield, located off the main concourse in center field, is geared towards the youngest Mariner fans. Features a playfield, wishing well, and more. Swing by the next time you're right here at Safeco Field. Here's Mike Zunino to lead it off. A fabulous week for Mike. Eugenie pumps in a strike.
Eugenie has been sharp today. First 2 innings, 21 pitches, 15 strikes. He's not had a 3-ball count yet.
Swing and a miss by Mike. 10 for 24 in this homestand. 3 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Hit it the other way. Second baseman going. Eugenie's retired the first 7 men that he's faced
with 3 strikeouts.
Bring up center fielder Gerard Dyson. Got his second triple as a Mariner, leading off the 5th inning. Came around and scored on the Gamble sac fly in the 5th inning in last night's 2-1 loss.
Donaldson in on the grass at third. Smoke also playing in, trying to take the bunt away.
Ryan Goins, a fielder's choice RBI in the 2nd inning, and a home run by Bautista in the 3rd with a 2-0 lead. 1-2 Gerard. Mitch Haniger working his way back. Pretty exciting. See him could see him as early as tomorrow, as late as Sunday. Could be interesting. Getting his work in Tacoma. Outfield tonight. DH last night. Scott Service saying, yep, maybe activate him Saturday or maybe Sunday. Added depth will allow him to mix and match a whole lot.
Yeah, that's great news for the Mariners.
2-2.
You don't think about it at the time, but once he is able to get back and play regularly again, that just makes your bench even better, because the guys that have been sitting on the bench have been playing. They have a lot of playing time now, which is going to help them as they move forward in the season.
Yeah, Campbell's been in 38 games, 141 ABs coming into tonight's game. Dyson, 57 games, 176 ABs coming in. Heredia, 47 games, 169 at bats. Then you add Mitch in there, and he was ripping it before he got hurt. 342 in 21 games with 4 homers and 16 RBIs. Payoff here to Dyson. He slaps that one into center field. That'll be a base hit. Takes the big turn.
Oh, looks like he hits a pretty good pitch. It's down towards the outside corner. See him reaching for it, but he's able to keep the barrel on it. Does not roll over and hit a ground ball. Top hand coming off the bat helped him with that.
Tied with Elvis Andrus atop the stolen base charts with 14.
Taylor Motter hitting 9th in the lineup, 6 home runs on the year.
Motter 1 for 4 in last night's game. Looks to strike 1. Dyson back safely.
With Motter hitting, as you would guess, playing him to pull in the outfield. So Pilar, the center fielder, shading towards left center.
First Mariner base runner tonight after Biagini retired the first 7 men. There he goes. Got a great jump. Here's the throw by Russell Martin. It is not in time. Stolen base number 15 for Jarrod Dyson, taking over the lead in the American League.
He gets a great jump. Doesn't take him long at all to accelerate. Late dive into the bag. We've seen that all year. Able to keep his hand on it, no problem.
Runner in scoring position now. 1-1 count. Taylor Motter. Breaking ball. Set to center field. Good technique by Pilar. 2 down. CenturyLink going to bring you tomorrow. Marcus Stroman won the championship game for Team USA in the WBC. Young man went back to Duke and got his degree. Goes against Ariel Miranda, the top winner for the Mariners. That is a good-looking matchup.
It'll be a great matchup. Opponent hitting just .219 against Miranda this year.
Really impressive. And he has saved the Mariners bacon flat out.
He's pitched deep into games. He's had good fastball command so he can get to his split. He's really pitched well.
2 outs. Ben Gamble gets away from Martin. Advancing to third is Dyson.
That'll be a wild pitch.
So Biagini with the wild pitch.
They want a town in the zone. You can see a lot of bite to it.
Second wild pitch by Joe. Second of the season.
Go ahead and throw another one to the backstop if he would like.
Why not? One-0 here to Gamble. Foul off.
Ben has really played well. You can see his average at .310, 17 RBIs. Picked up an RBI last night on a sacrifice fly.
He's got service lauding Ben for his on base percentage against right-hand pitching. .416. And also was really big on his situational hitting. The example from last night with the sac fly.
We talked about it last night. The thing I like in those situations is he typically gets it done in the first or second pitch.
2 nights ago, his base hit 2 outs.
Yes.
Zunino's not a hero unless he gets on. There we go, base hit. Mariners on the board. Another big moment for Ben Gamble. It's a 2-1 Toronto lead for Ben, his 18th RBI.
We talked about him driving in a run last night, and the run that he drove in was Dyson, who had hit a triple, and Jarrod going to score on this base hit.
Sharply hit.
Yeah, and again for Dyson, you can see the problems he causes when he gets on the bases. Steals second, wild pitch, and he scores.
In our 11 years, that's not an asset we've had here for during that time.
No, you're right, and especially at the rate at which he runs, and he wants to steal. He wants to get into scoring position. He knows that's where his value is on this club.
Strike one to Heredia. But Dyson now 15 out of 18 in base stealing.
He's not just fast. He knows what he's doing out there.
Oh, yeah.
He's been in some huge situations in his career. We talk about money bags. Well, he's been out there when it's been the most important.
Talking about late championships, World Series. Runner goes. Pitch swung on Donaldson. Plays it. Short hop. It's well done. Mariners get a run on 2 hits and leave a man. It's 2-1 Toronto. One out. Dyson. Base hit. Stolen base. Wild pitch. Gamble on a 2-1 pitch. Singles him in. The Mariners are on the board. 18th run batted in for Ben Gamble's had an outstanding week. 2-1. Glad to have you with us. First of 3. Mariners then take off for Minnesota and Texas and then come back for another long homestand. This is the longest homestand of the season, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it. Mariners at 6-2 here in the homestand, losing last night 2-1. Troy Tulowitzki, Russell Martin, Ezekiel Carrera will go against Sam Gaviglio.
Gaviglio 58 pitches through 3 innings. A lot of stress involved. Bases loaded in the first. He was able to get out of it. And the Jays score run in the second. Walked the leadoff hitter, came around to score. And the solo home run by Batista.
Walked 3, struck out 1. And he's ahead of Tulo here. 0-2. Long Beach State guy, as is Nick Vincent of the Mariners. Strike 3. 3 straight strikes. Quick dismissal of Troy Tulowitzki. Second strikeout. Both looking for Gaviglio.
Good looking breaking ball.
1 down. Hey, enjoy Mariners baseball with Man's Best Friend Thursday, July 6th. It's Bark at the Park night number 2 for only $50. Pick up a ticket for both you and your dog, plus a unique Mariners dog tag courtesy of Avoderm and Nylabone. The special offer is available only at mariners.com/what else. Bark or woof. Russell Martin walked and scored. Second inning. Bounce foul.
Good news with Sam, because he has the ability to throw so many strikes. It's taking him a lot of pitches to get through 3 innings. Get some of that pitch count back quickly and put the ball in play early in counts. He was able to get the 1 strikeout on 3 pitches. Quickly ahead of Martin. And the curveball.
Same 2-1, a 3.13 ERA entering tonight's game. He's got a 1-2 pitch here. Foul back.
We were talking about Miranda earlier, and also thinking about the impact that Paxton has being back in the rotation, because now you have Miranda going tomorrow, Paxton on Sunday. If Gaviglio struggles through this one and they have to go to the bullpen early, I think Scott feels a little bit better about it, knowing that those 2 guys are going to get the starts over the next 2 days. Sam's starting to throw a lot of strikes. Another good breaking ball.
Super job last night. Pazos, Cishek,
yes.
Szybczynski, and Altavilla. 4 innings of 3-hit scoreless baseball, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. There's 1-2 again. Swing and a miss, struck him out.
And the bullpen the bullpen has been a really good strength for the Mariners, which they've needed. If they have a lead after the 6th inning, they're going to hang on to it. We'll take a look at it. A good pitch just off the outside corner. So he's really starting to locate.
Well, you hit it right on the head about the bullpen. That and the bottom of the order's productivity during this homestand has been marvelous. Sam has found the strike zone.
Nothing but strikes in this inning. 10 pitches so far in this inning.
Carrera hit one hard off the glove of Valencia for a base hit, his first time. Motter, jump throw. Too much speed, but a good effort. Really good effort by Motter. The first reach into the glove.
That gives you a pretty good idea of what a good athlete he is. We know that he plays all over the place. Natural shortstop. Make the backhanded play, but because he had to reach for it, there's a little bit of a bobble on the exchange, and still able to throw it all the way across the diamond on a jump throw going to his right. That is a difficult play.
And had he made the first grab, he might have had a shot.
Might have been able to get a little more on the throw too.
Yeah, you bet. Infield hit, 2 out.
Good try.
Ryan Goins. Yep. Shortstop by trade. 4th Toronto hit. This is game number 62. 100 left. Not rushing time away. I just happened to look down and saw 62. Never want to rush time away. Come on.
He's really starting to live at the bottom of the strike zone as well. I think you mentioned it, Dave. Game 62. The Mariners can win this game and be 31-31 with all the injuries they've had.
Oh, man,
and then you look forward to the next 100 games.
Yeah.
They're in pretty good shape.
I think if you're a Mariner fan, you should be excited about it. You're looking at Haniger tomorrow or Sunday. Felix before long. Smiley threw a bullpen. He threw 10 pitches yesterday. Nothing, nothing in real anger, but he's working his way back. And
probably after the All-Star break.
Yeah. Every time you talk to him, it's like, dude, hurry back. He said, I'm trying.
Get healthy.
He wants it badly. As I remember when he was with Tampa Bay, he was murder on the Mariners. Smiley.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. And then remember when he and Felix hooked up in the WBC.
I think he was throwing topped out at 96.
Right.
With a really good curveball.
Who did I talk to? Lucroy. Lucroy said it was the Texas catcher said it was some of the best stuff he's seen. Pitch there by Gaviria, 1-2.
He's starting to get a feel for it. He's throwing a first pitch strike to the last 6 batters in a row. It's a good sign.
Mariners defensively make a move now as Motter joins Cano on the right side and Seager shifts over to his left. Ball and 2 strikes. Pitch to Ryan Goins. Runner takes off. Pitch. Tried to bunt his way. And he's out. And that's the inning. How do you like the sound of this? Doo-ups. Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, and Kyle Seager. Mariners down a run 2-1 to Toronto. The 4th here at Safeco Field. If you won Washington's lottery, you could share the win by filling up the Diamond Club with all your friends. So play today. Good look at David Palm. Wonder if he wears that for Easter. It's a great look at suit. Totally suitable for Safeco Field.
I wonder.
And he's got the good seats.
Yeah, he does. I wonder how many of those suits he has. We've seen a couple different colors, right?
Right. That one and the Sunday.
The Sunday, yeah.
The Sunday blue and gold. All right, let's see what gives here. Home fourth. Robbie Cano, second time through for him. He struck out on an 0-2 pitch from Biagini. Fouls it off. Robbie, Nelly, and Seager. Here in the fourth. Mariners got their run. Third inning. 2-out single to right by Ben Gamble, scoring Gerard Dyson, who had single, stole second, was wild pitch to third. Ben brought him home. Feel pretty much straight up here for Robbie. Great crowd, great atmosphere here at Safeco Field. Tremendous buzz in the air with the Jays in town. Foul off.
One of the few fastballs we've seen at the top of the strike zone. More towards the middle of the plate. The good news for the Mariners is Cano can handle that pitch. A few left-handed hitters that can actually get on top of a fastball, even a good fastball.
We've seen him ride it out of here into the pen over the 376 side. Guanapo. Here's 1-2. Biagini played a college ball, University of California, Davis, second year with the Jays. There's Nelly, back after sitting out the last 2 days. Right calf injury. 2-2. Donaldson. One knee. Throws him out. One away here in the Mariners' fourth time for our Geico this date in MLB history. Take you back just to 2008. Ken Griffey Jr. becomes the sixth player, big league history, to hit 600 career home runs. It came off of WSU Washington State Cougar Mark Hendrickson at Dolphin Stadium outside of Miami. Junior. Hopefully we'll see him when we go to Tampa in August. Great seeing him here. Had the unveiling of the statue, throwing out the first pitch to get our home season underway. Here's Cruz, flat out to left. Nelly looking to extend his hitting streak to 5 ball games.
Came into the game hitting .299 overall. And he has just been amazing. Watch him hit for a high average with the type of power that he has.
Tied with Miguel Sano, 46 runs batted in atop the American League. We're going to see Sano again on Monday in Minneapolis. Good off-speed offering there by Biagini.
Biagini in great shape with his pitch count. 47 pitches, 32 strikes, 13 batters, 9 first pitch strikes. He's on his game tonight, similar to what we were able to see in Toronto when they faced him earlier this year.
Outfielder Carrera takes care of it. Two down. The Orchid card. It's all you need to ride Sounder Train, Link Light Rail, buses, ferries, and streetcars. Learn more at GetOrcaSmart.com. Got other action in the American League right now. Middle of the 9th inning. Angels on top of Houston 9-4. Texas has closed out Washington 5-2. Oakland got hammered at Tampa Bay 13-4. And the Yankees wore out Baltimore 8-2. Run down some more a little bit later. 2 outs, nobody on. And Kyle Seager looks at a strike. Flied out to left center field his first time.
I think that's the right approach if you're left-handed against Biagini. He will pitch inside a little bit, but for the most part, it's going to be 2 seamers away. comes inside, it'll be the cutter. You're probably better off laying off of it, like this pitch right here. Didn't quite get it there. It's the middle of the plate, and Kyle missed it.
Pretty good carry on it as Pilar pockets that in the 1, 2, 3, 4th. Nice night here in Seattle as we welcome in the Blue Jay fans. Glad you've joined us, everybody. Mariner baseball against the Blue Jays. Sam Gaviglio. First two men he faced did well, got in some trouble. Wound up giving up a run in the 2nd inning, a 3rd inning home run to Bautista. And here he is for the 5th inning, Mike. And there was a couple of moments there in the 2nd. Didn't look like he'd get this far.
No, you're right. As you can see, 25 pitches in the 1st, 73 total for him. Was really sharp in the 4th inning. So at 73 pitches, maybe you can give him a couple more innings.
He's battled back nicely. He struck out 4. They've come in the last 6 hitters. Pilar back up the middle. Robbie gobbles it up, throws him out, 1 down. Let's check in with Angie Mentic. Angie. All right, Angie, thank you very much. Josh Donaldson, 2015 AL MVP, 0 for 2 tonight, a couple of groundouts. One on the count.
Another good pitch, not called a strike for Sam. Fastball on the outside corner. Wow.
I hear you. There should be
That's
2
tough.
outs. Should be 2 outs.
That's tough.
Three balls, 1 strike. James Hoy has home plate tonight.
A little tight.
You're being kind. Jeez. Infield straight up, outfield straight up, deep 3-2 pitch. Base hit for Donaldson. Brings up Bautista. Former teammates at Oakland.
We showed the video earlier when he grounded out and chased Danny a little bit.
He ran right, plant the bag, and he ran at Danny instead of the bag.
A little fun.
Bautista homered last time up. 2-2 pitch. His team lost to Cleveland in the American League Championship Series last year. Beat Baltimore in the wild card, Texas in the division series. Vilio came in, hit 1.8 straight first pitch strikes and 9 out of 10. And he had figured some things out. There's 1-1 here. 1 out, 1 on. And mile high pop. Potter's under it. So 2 down here in the 5th. Vote today, vote tomorrow, vote Nelson Cruz and the Mariners for your 2017 All-Stars with the MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at mariners.com/vote and catch all the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11. All-Star Game in Miami. You'll see sun like that. There's Morales. Single and strikeout looking.
This first time up, they tried to pitch him inside. They ended up getting to a fastball that was above the belt on the inside corner. Hit it just inside the first base line, and for that single, play by Gamble to hustle over and hold him to a single.
Ground ball missed.
They're going back away from him.
Big shift with both Motter and Cano in the grass, short right field. Here's a 1-1. Off the end of the bat, hey, way out front.
An off-speed pitch right in the middle of the plate. 79 miles an hour. You can see the location on it.
Ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at first.
And right back with it again. That one more at the bottom of the plate, right off the end. Morales probably thinking about that first at bat. He keeps waiting for that fastball inside, and he's not getting it.
As hard as he hit it, I wouldn't throw it either.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Man, oh man, he turned on that baby.
Fastball away.
1-2 pitch. Kendrick has been around. Better make a quality pitch. Properly retired here at Safeco Field, out in right field, an upper deck. Kendrick Morales. 11 years out of Cuba in the big leagues. 1-2 pitch. Did he go? Did not, as they check with Tim Timmons down at third. Count goes to 2-2.
Or Gaviglio reached a season high as far as a pitch count goes. It was against Tampa Bay in his last outing. He threw 90 pitches, 58 strikes.
Big pitch right here. But Justin Smoke on deck. Pitch to Morales, hit hard. Cano's right there. Takes the time and throws out Morales. There you go. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the home fifth. Coming up, Danny Valencia, Mike Zunino, and Gerard Dyson. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at Safeco.com. Do more by Amtrak Cascades. What a beautiful way to travel. Visit AmtrakCascades.com. And by Steel. To find your local Steel dealer, visit SteelDealers.com. Good looking shot here. Still plenty of sunshine. Sunset's probably not going to be till after 9. One of the beauties being here in the Pacific Northwest. Tulo goes out. Valencia on one pitch. Happy 66th birthday to Dave Parker, the Cobra. Great Pittsburgh Pirate. Had a moment here in the '79 All-Star game with a great throw.
Great throw.
Right. I mean, that was sick. They got one. The one there, let's see, both to Gary Carter. I'm trying to remember who he threw out. Look that up, but I just remember him coming up throwing a laser. The Cobra get hit. Batting champion.
What a long career.
Well, we are family buccos. Mike Zunino grounded out. Second base. Strike one to Mike. He went 1 for 2 against Biagini back on May 12 when we were in Toronto. He threw out Jim Rice trying to get a triple at third and Brian Downing at home plate. Talking about Dave Parker, 66th birthday today.
This level, you can get some tough at bats, and that's what's happening to Mike right here. The first 2 pitches, fastballs that were right on the outside corner, and then that last pitch, which is his best pitch, the curveball, right at the bottom of the strike zone, able to foul it off, but he hasn't had anything good to hit yet. Going back to the curveball again. Changed his mind.
One swing away from tying this game up. Tip right into the glove of Martin. 2 down. Strikeout number 4. Check out our Delta Airlines keep climbing standings. Yankees won tonight. What a battle in that division. Blue Jays, like the Mariners, making a nice little run here, getting close to 500. Rays much improved. Mariners swept them. Still have to face. You have to face the Baltimore Orioles or the Yankees. 2 outs. Here's Dyson, got a base hit. Center field on a 3-2 pitch. And he gave it a good ride, but not deep enough as Guerrero makes another play. And Biagini has retired 3, 6, 7 in a row now. He's got a 2-1 lead. All right, thank you, Angie. These Mariner fans making a statement towards the Canadians. It was the Sounders beating Toronto to win the MLS Cup, and the Montreal Canadiens were the last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup back in '94. So rubbing it in just a tad. Justin Smoke leads off. Smoke, Tulowitzki, and Martin here in the 6th. Smokey's walked and grounded out to Valencia at first. What a run for Smoke this first half. 17 home runs, one off the pace set by Aaron Judge, who has 18. He's got 42 runs batted in. He's behind Sano, Cruz, Pujols, and tied with Avisail Garcia with 42. Reno.
Sam now at 93 pitches. That's a season high for him. Tony Zitt getting loose in the bullpen. Scott Service would like to see a 1-2-3 inning. We can get through 6.
Second inning, Jays get on the board. Ryan Goins, a fielder's choice RBI. Third inning, home run by Bautista. Mariners got their run in the 3rd. And Smoke, just past Motter's glove. On a 3-1 pitch, singles. Open up the 6th. Join the Mariners, the Greater Seattle Business Association, and T-Mobile for Pride Night here at Safeco Field on Thursday, June 22nd. Seattle singer-songwriter Mary Lambert will perform the national anthem. And when you purchase tickets at mariners.com/pride, You'll receive a free Pride Night hat. Should be a lot of fun that evening. Tulowitzki. Got called third strike his last time up. Strike one.
Let's see if he can get a double play ball. Able to get one in the second inning, a 5-4-3 double play. That was with Pilar hitting.
Tulo not real happy with that. 0-2. Mariners got their run third inning. RBI by Ben Gamel. Two pitch. Breaking ball struck him out. Fifth strikeout for Gaviria. One away here in the sixth.
All three pitches up and away from him. Well, probably middle away as he swings through it out in front of the breaking ball. We look at our Snoqualmie Casino Supermo. See how far out in front he was.
There's Russell Martin, the catcher. Walk, run scored in the second, strikeout in the fourth. One away.
And the next pitch will be 100 for Sam. First time this year to reach 100.
1-1. Sam won his last two ball games at Colorado and against Tampa Bay. He's 1-1 here.
I think this is one of the situations that Scott Service has talked about as far as the bullpen and trying to keep those guys healthy out in the pen up to full strength. Is at times when normally he might go get a pitcher, which would be probably Sam right now with his pitch count, because they're behind. He's willing to stay with them a little bit longer, hoping that he can get through the inning.
Sure.
Just to keep those guys healthy. And it has worked when they've had leads. It's those guys out in the pen that have been able to hold on to it. Their ERA just over 1 over the last few weeks because of it.
Big pitch here at 1-2 to Russell Martin. Breaking ball hit down to Seager. There's one to Cano, over to Valencia. Double play. Right on time again. Sam Gaviria through 6. 2-1 Toronto. Here at Safeco Field. They're having a huddle, a Superman huddle for the picture. You're going to love these fans.
They're having a lot of fun is what they're doing.
Kevin Pillar's their guy. They call him Superman up in Toronto. Time now for Who Am I, presented by Heritage Distilling Company's BSB. Here we go. Born in Ellensburg, Washington. Graduated from Moses Lake High School. Part MLB debut in '75 at the Giants. Part of the Vita Blue trade in '78. Pitched a single season for the '80 Mariners. Wore number 60 my rookie season for most of my career. I'm trying to guess who the heck that is. Do you know?
I think I have an idea.
How about some runs? Taylor Motter to lead things off here. Taylor with a fly to center. First time in this one. Right field. Sends Bautista back a few steps. One pitch, one out. Let's check out the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Mattress Firm. Wrap up the nice homestand on Sunday. Go to the Twin Cities. 3 night games and a day game. Be hot and humid in Minneapolis, and more of same down in Texas. Then home sweet home. See the Tigers and the Houston Astros, followed by the Philadelphia Phillies. A nice homestand. 9 games, and then the Mariners take off for a quick 3 spot in LA, Anaheim, and then home for another week. The next thing you know, the All-Star break will be upon us. Strike one to Ben Gamel.
He and Dyson have been the offense tonight. Has driven in the 1 run. There's with just 2 hits. Dyson with a base hit, stole second, went to third on a wild pitch, and then scored on the base hit by Gamel.
Mariners down 2-1. They lost by that score to the Twins last night. 6-2 on this homestand. 1-1 to Ben. Way out front. Ball and 2 strikes. Gamel with 2 home runs. The RBI in the 3rd gives him 18 for the season. A couple of doubles. A couple of triples, beg your pardon, and 7 doubles. Guillermo Heredia is on deck. Two and 2.
Mark Zepchinski also getting loose in the pen.
On to Tyler Cloyd.
We saw Tony Zick last inning getting loose. Change things up a little bit.
Two here to Gamel. Get a piece of that.
Curveball has been a good pitch for him this year. Opponent's hitting just 147 against his curve. And you can see why. So pretty good job by Gamel. You get a piece of it. Foul it off. Right at the bottom of the strike zone again, but a lot of bite to it. Tough pitch to square up when it's down.
Martin sets up outside, and Ben bounces it to the second baseman. Ryan Goins, 2 down. To revisit our Who Am I? What gave you the clue? Who do you think it is?
I think it was the Moses Lake High School one, and Dave Heverlow at a radio show over there for a long time after his playing career. But we would go, and there's Dave, and on the Caravan we would go by and see him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Go over to Eastern Washington.
Nice. Quick. Big Bend Community College coaching over there. There's Heredia. Strikeout looking, ground out to 3rd. Didn't see it, but somebody made a nice catch. Boy, good crowd here tonight. Cheer for the RBI club. Nick Vincent was outstanding today. And we went over with Billy Mack, who just wrote the Dave Niehaus story. Had lunch with him over at Jimmy's, and here come the Blue Jay fans. Everybody at like 1:30. Mariners with 2 hits. Mike mentioned Dyson and Gamble. That's it. 4 strikeouts. No walks by Biagini. He's 0-2 to Heredia. Game 62. It's June 9th already. Seemed like we were just saying, yo, what's up? And down to Peoria.
Yeah, no kidding.
Huh. Time granted. Oh, 2 pitch. 1-2. Biagini's dad, Rob, played in the Giants minor league system back in '82. Here's the 1-2 to Guillermo. And a good take again. Count goes even, 2-2.
Next pitch will be 70 for him. Great shape with his pitch count.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. This kid's got spunk.
Putting up a fight.
Two. Struck him out. That's a nasty pitch. Biagini with 5 Ks. He goes 1, 2, 3 into 6. So 3, 6, 9, 10 in a row. He's retired.
Wants to get out of him. Last outing September 29 of 2013 against the Braves. Win an inning. It's been a while for him.
Indeed. 30 years old. Originally drafted by the Phillies, 18th round in '08. Bellevue East High School in Bellevue, Nebraska. He's a Cornhusker, University of Nebraska. 2-7 with the Phillies back in 13, 2-2 the year before. Here's who's remaining in the pen this evening for the Mariners. Look at it. That's Carrera. A hard line foul. Carrera, Goins, and Pilar. They're in the 7th. Couple of hits, 2 infield hits here for Carrera. Floyd signed by the Mariners as a free agent back on May 12th. Look out.
Heads up.
Two and two. Runs tonight. Toronto. Fielder's choice RBI Ryan Goins in the 2nd. Home run by Bautista in the 3rd. Home 3rd. Gamble drove in Dyson. Long at bat right here.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat.
Strike 3. Caught him right in between. First strikeout as a Mariner for Tyler Cloyd. Well, tour of the team store here at Safeco Field. We got a couple of them. And it's a capital investment. Come on, it's a capitalistic system. You want to make a buck. You want to make things available. Got some Toronto gear here. Great crowd, 33,518. Ball 1 to Ryan Goins. Congratulations. Cavaliers avoid a sweep. As Motter throws out Goins. 2 down. Cavaliers win at 137-116. Now down 3-1 in the NBA Finals. 2 outs here. We play top 7. Top of the order. Here comes Pilar for the 4th time. 0 for 3.
Tyler Cloyd, 10 pitches, 6 strikes for him so far. Fastball has been right around 90, 91 miles an hour.
Will get you another appearance on it.
Well, I think right now it's really going to be on the offense, because if he can get through this inning, he'll probably stay out there. Talked about it when we showed you the list of the guys out in the bullpen. They've been so important, and I think Scott tries to save them when he can. And typically that means you better at least be tied late in the ball game if he's going to go to him.
Pazzo, Cishek, Zipchinski, and Altavilla last night.
So hopefully the offense can get going.
1-1 pitch. Foul down the line. That is a fair ball. Gamble gets there quickly. Pilar out of the box hard. Good job by Ben Gamble. There's that speed we've been talking about going back to spring training.
And it's not an easy play once it hits the cinder out there, gets under the dirt. For one, you have to worry about your footing, and 2, you're not quite sure what the ball is going to do, and uses 2 hands, able to field it cleanly. Hits the wall and gets it back in quickly. He has really played well.
That's a big play.
I had a good conversation with him today, and was asking him early before the guys take batting practice, and he's been out taking ground balls at first base, and I asked him about it. And he said, whatever it's going to take to keep me in the lineup, I'm willing to do it.
He's smart.
So I asked him, I said, when's the last time you played first base? Or I asked him, I said, have you played first base before? And he said, yeah, in Little League.
Hey, man.
But look, I give him a lot of credit. He's out there working every day. And with Mitch Haniger coming back, it's just another option for him to get in the lineup from time to time. Why not?
Donaldson wails on this one, but Dyson is going to not get it. Oh, that's a tough break. Get the wave on. Here's a throw to the plate. Marner, they should get it. He is meat. They got him. Great relay. Dyson, Marner, Savino nails at the plate. Keep it a 2-1 ball game. You stretch. Just imagine what you can do with a win from Washington's lottery. Play today. Good times here at Safeco Field. Just need some Mariner runs. It's 2-1 Toronto. First of 3 with the Blue Jays in town. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, Root Sports Crew. Big Fish Casino, Big Cats. This is an outstanding play by the Mariners.
It's a great play. You can see Dyson, when he realizes he's not going to make the catch, he smothers it by the way he turns his glove over. The ball stays close enough to him. And then from his knees, he's able to get it to Marner, the shortstop tonight, which gives Marner plenty of time to make the throw to home plate. They were going to send Pilar no matter what with 2 outs. And Marner throws a strike as Zunino puts the tag on him.
Room service waiting for him.
Just well done all the way around.
Pilar tried a Superman dive. It did not work.
Well, here we go, middle of the lineup.
Bottom 7 down a run. Robbie 0 for 2. Strikeout, ground out. First pitch strike. Biagini's retired the last 10 men that he's faced. The last noise made by the Mariners, a 2-out RBI single to right by Ben Gamel back in the 3rd.
Basically stayed with that good sinking fastball, 92 to 94 miles an hour. Doesn't throw many cutters. Pretty good curveball tonight.
2-1. Cano ahead in the count here. There's a drive center field. Back it up. Pilar, giddy up, baby! Off the top of the fence. Digging for 2. He's going to have to hurry. He is in there with a leadoff double.
That That is back-to-back nights that he has hit a ball to dead center field right on the button. Buxton robbed him last night. Almost gets a home run on this one. Just misses it by about a foot, it looked like, just below the yellow line. Sam put the swing on it, gets a pitch up in the zone. That's where they've tried to pitch him. We talked about it earlier in the game, and that just missed. Probably less than a foot. That's how close it was to being a home run and tying this game.
Jeez. And said for many a year, game of inches.
Not many opportunities for the Mariners tonight. That's just a third hit. They are 1 for 2 with runners in scoring position.
Alley's first game back after missing the last 2. Drops in a breaking ball. A double by Cano, his 11th. Ties in with Seager for the team lead. Looking back, comebacker. Nice play by Goins as Smoke keeps his foot on the bag. Nice play there, 1 out, runner at second. Let's take a look at our Columbia Bank difference of the game. Take you back to the 3rd inning, 1 out, a 2-2 pitch to Bautista, and he knew it. Home run number 11.
Yeah.
Get a barrel to it, can he?
He can. On that last play, normally you would think that Robbie would be able to move up, but nursing that quad, he thought that the pitcher, Biagini, was going to field it, so he started to go back to second base, and once it was past the pitcher, he had no chance to get to third. It's a tough read.
See if Seager can bring him home. Flat out deep to left center field and fly out to center. 0 for 2. That hit by Cano, the 3rd Mariner hit tonight. That was blocked by Martin. They got the second baseman going way out in right field. Seager looking for Patrick Green to score. Robbie Cano to tie this thing up. Advantage Seager 2-0.
He's basically pitched him away with the 2-seam fastball. Fly ball to left, fly ball to center. Pilar, the center fielder, shading towards left center. Really aimed to pull on the ground. He hits it in the air. I think he's going to hit it the other way.
2-0 pitch here to Kyle. 2-1 Toronto. 3-0. And we've seen Kyle do plenty of damage. 3-0.
He has the green light. Typically for Kyle, he's going to look for something that is middle in. His power, home run power, is to right field.
Rio to Seager. He's aboard. 2 on, 1 out. First walk by Biagini. Mariners with a good threat here in the 7th. Kyle Seager bobblehead night presented by Root Sports. It's coming up Saturday, July 8th. This unique bobblehead is free to the first 20,000 fans and features an outstretched Kyle showing off his Gold Glove defense. Grab your tickets now at Mariners.com.
Biagini had a pretty good idea that Kyle had the green light to swing away. 3-0 changeup to walk him.
See if Danny Valencia can make some noise here. Mariners down a run.
And Tapera getting ready to get loose in the pen. There it
Through
is.
the hole, base hit. Here comes Cano around third. Carrera with the throw. The throw is not in time. Ty Morgan throw to third. Safe at third is Seager. Mariners in
Then he was aggressive in his last at bat. He hit the ball hard, but it was right at the shortstop. This time aggressive again on a first pitch fastball. Finds a hole on the left side of the infield, just out of the reach of Tulowitzki. Wasn't sure if they were going to send Robbie or not. They do. It's a high throw. That's what Seager reads. That's right. That's when he takes off. He knows they can't cut it off, so he decides to go to third. And a good slide gets him in there. And a great situation for the Mariners now, first and third with just one out.
Pete Walker, the pitching coach, coming out for a visit. Mike Zunino will be the hitter. He's 0 for 2, a ground out to second and a strikeout. Good work here by the Mariners in the 7th inning. Cano got it started. Now runners at the corners and 1 out. New ball game at 2-2.
And with the new ball game, it looks like Nick Vincent, I believe, in the pen getting loose. We talked about it. They were going to have to at least tie it up. A chance to go ahead now. First and third, just 1 out. One of their hot hitters, Mike Zunino, stepping in. They pitched him away the entire game. They'll look out over the plate.
And what did Mikey Z do the other night going away?
Right center, walk-off home run. More than anything, he needs to look for a pitch that is up in the zone right here to stay out of the double play. I want to hit it on the ground.
Sack fly will do the trick. Blocked there by Russell Martin. Ball 1. Mariners offense has been quiet till this inning. Virginia retired 10 consecutive hitters. And now the Mariners have double, a ground out, a walk, and an RBI single. First and third now.
Huge hole on the right side of the infield with the defense that they have.
1-0 pitch here to Mike. He's in good shape, 2-0. Aaron Luke heating up for the Jays. Here's a 2-0 to Zunino. 3-0. Gerard Dyson's on deck. He's 1 for 2, a run scored, stolen base.
The way Mike has been swinging it, you let him go here?
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Hey, Mike came in 10 hits, 24 at bats on a homestand. Let it fly, big guy. 3-0. And he takes a strike. Oh, man. Thought that might have been to his liking.
Well, it's a pretty good pitch to hit. Fastball up in the zone.
Three-one pitch to Zunino. Trying to break a 2-2 tie. And he takes ball 4. The bases are loaded.
I'll bring up Dyson. And they're going to bring the infield in. John Gibbons telling the infield to come on in. Looks like he's going to stay with the right-hander. Biagini now at 86 pitches, 56 strikes overall.
1 career grand slam for Gerard back on July 18 a year ago against Cleveland. 5-ball base hit. Gets the job done. Seager at third. Valencia at second. Zunino at first. And it might get out of play. It does.
I think this is a situation where most of the time the managers will play their infield back, especially the middle of the diamond. They get the double play, but with Dyson's speed, I don't think he feels real good about doubling him up, so they're going to make the play at the plate if they can.
Big inning the Mariners have been waiting for here.
A big gap in right center field.
Gerard Dyson about 3 fingers up on that bat. Better bat control. Here's the 0-1. Blocked by Martin. No advance. Also born in Montreal, played that like a hockey goalie.
Well, and bounced out in front of the plate. A little bit of luck involved keeping that in front of you.
A lot of activity out there, huh? Look at that. Bases loaded, infield up close. Valencia's got a good lead at second. Mariners looking for the lead. Now Dyson steps out. One of the bigger spots Dyson's been in as a Mariner. 1-1 pitch. Bases loaded. One out. In the dirt.
Another good block. Another breaking ball in the dirt. This one clears home plate. A little bit closer to him. Easier to block.
Pilar shaded towards left center. A lot of gap between Pilar and Bautista, the right fielder. 2-1 pitch here to Dyson. Oh, and base hit. Here comes Seager. Valencia right behind him. The throw from Pilar is in time. Got him. The Mariners take the lead 3-2. Dyson picks up an RBI, his 18th. Seager scores. Out 8-2 is Valencia.
Well, take a look at it. Solid line drive base hit right at Pilar. Manny, actually, you can see him waving him in. And I think for Danny, by the time he saw him with the stop sign, he was next to him too late. He decided to go ahead and go.
No question about that. Let's see if Mater, with 2 outs, can bring home another run or 2 or 3. Mariners have the lead for the first time tonight. Strike one.
We talked about the Mariners not with many opportunities tonight. They made the most of them. 3 for 5. Dyson with a couple of hits.
7th man to the plate. One to Mutter, who's flat out to center, flat out to right. Makes him 1 for 6 against Biagini. Three-2 Mariners here in the 7th, looking for more. Two and one. Big Vincent at the ready. Will face the heart of the order for the Jays in the 8th. Two balls, 1 strike. The other way, foul. Nicely done. But the ball girl came right to her.
Pretty casual too.
Yep.
That was hit hard. Line drive right at her.
Had it all the way. Good job.
No problem. Biagini now at 94 pitches. Again, his season high was his last outing where he threw 100. Loop the left-hander ready to go in the bullpen. And you have Gamble waiting on deck. Dominic Leone, former Mariner, also getting loose.
Big spot here. 2-2 pitch. Out back. Good cut.
Fastball middle and probably even in off the plate. He is going to take a swing at it. The strength is to pull the ball. Likes the fastball close to him, and he can get the barrel to it.
Mariners trying to get back to 500. The 3-2 lead here. 2-2, 2 out, 2 on. Pitch 98 coming up for Biggio. One more time at 2-2. Breaking ball hit down to Donaldson. Goes across. Mariners take the lead. They get 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors. Leave 2. We go to the 8th. Mariners on top. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Money Tree. Proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. By BNSF Railway, sponsor the BNSF Blast. By CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger combo for $4.99. Limited time only. Glad you've joined us, everybody. Final 3 games of this homestand. Tonight, beginning here, game 1 with the Blue Jays. Gerard Dyson's had a fine night. Couple of hits, picked up an RBI, put the Mariners in front here, 3-2. Third pitcher tonight is Nick Vincent.
And he has been strong for the Mariners this year. 25 appearances, a 2.19 ERA, 17 strikeouts over 4 walks. Opponents hitting just .225 against Nick. His fastball at 90 miles an hour. This pitch is probably his cut fastball. That'll be right around 88. Also has a slider to go with it.
He's going to get tested here. Bautista, Morales, and Smoke. Big swing and a miss by Bautista, who homered back in the 3rd, walked in the 1st, popped out to short in the 5th.
Good cut fastball off the outside corner at 88 miles an hour. And another one.
Outfield deep for Bautista. Big swing and a miss.
Yeah, 91 miles an hour at the top of the zone. Can't get to it.
1-2 from Nick. And almost held on.
For the high fastball at 91, comes right back with a cutter off the outside corner. Well off the plate away.
get Bautista. 1-2 pitch. Vincent deals. Missed. It goes 2-2. Mariners with the lead for the first time tonight. 2-2 pitch. Hammered through the hole. Base hit. Leadoff man's aboard here in the 8th for Toronto. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Delighted to have you with us here at Safeco Field here in Root Sports. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, and the Root Sports crew. Here is Kendrys Morales. First inning single to right. Strikeout looking in the 3rd. A ground out to Cano in the 5th.
Mariners have the shift on. Get that cutter in on his hands. If he can jam him, have him hit it on the ground, they can probably turn the double play. Morales does not run well.
Both teams have had runners thrown out at the plate. Lahr in the 7th and Valencia in the 7th. 1-1.
And here's the cutter. Ties him up. It's right on the inside corner. Elevated a little bit.
Dangerous hitter Morales. 11 home runs, 11 doubles. 1-1 pitch. That off the fist as well. Popped up foul.
And he is staying with the cutter, trying to keep it on his hands. Last one again, just off the inside corner, gets him to swing at it.
Nick Vincent at the RBI Club here today. AMC. Nick was the featured guest, and he was really terrific with the fans. Talked about a lot of wood chopping he did. Dad's property as a kid. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out.
And a smart pitch. After 3 cutters in on his hands, he goes to his 4-seam fastball at 91, elevated. And Morales trying to cheat to get to the cutter. Swings at a pitch up out of the strike zone. See how high that is. Good look. It's Snoqualmie Casino Supermo. Above the letters.
1 out, 1 on. Top 8. Here's Smoke. Walk, ground out, and a single to right. Having best first half he's ever had. Tied for 2nd in home runs in the American League. Tied for 3rd in runs batted in. 1-0 pitch. There's a strike. Three runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Mariners. 2-9-0 for Toronto.
For Smoke, and Dave has mentioned his numbers and what he's done this year, and it really comes down to 2 strikes. And you can see what he's done this year, hitting .223, a big difference than what he's done in his career, or at least over the last couple of years. 132, 51 points higher than the league average, and now he's at 2 strikes. Good fastball again above the strike zone. Cheating, trying to get to that cutter.
Yeah, need a quality pitch right here. Good ball game. Nick's ready. 1-2 to Smoke. Throw over the first. Good look at some of the crowd of 33,518 on hand here at Safeco Field. Big pitch at 1-2.
Veteran Joe Smith getting loose in the pen, the right-hander.
Right Kipchinsky, a one-time Blue Jay, warming up for the Mariners. 2-2 to Justin Smoke. Long run already. A full-out sprint, can't get there.
Nick Vincent has made a lot of quality pitches, including that last one, which was another cutter just off the inside corner. Jammed him.
There we go again. Pitch to Smoke. Foul back. Mariners 6-2 on this homestand, looking for their first win against the Jays. They were swept in 4 up in Toronto. Mariners have won 9 of their last 11. Two balls, 2 strikes. Pitch is Smoke. Turned on that one.
Well, it's what I've been talking about. That was another fastball in, and they're cheating on it now and looking dead in and just trying to cheat on it. And this pitch is in off the plate. And all that he can do with that pitch is hit it foul.
Good battle. 2-2. Vincent against Smoke. Pitch. Foul back.
One of the few times he went away. That one, 92-mile-an-hour fastball just off the outside corner.
9th pitch coming up.
A lot of quality pitches for him. Not many mistakes.
One more time. Pitch number 9 here. And he struck him out. 2 outs.
After the fastball away, he's going back to his best pitch, which is his cut fastball. And again, after speeding him up, he's able to throw this pitch in off the plate and gets him to chase it. Swinging right over the top of it.
Well located.
Yeah.
And just a nasty pitch. Tulowitzki 0 for 3. Ground out. Strikeout looking. Strikeout swinging. Base hit. Center field. A hold Bautista. Runners at first and second now for Russell Martin.
And Tulowitzki did not want to fall behind. First pitch swinging on a cutter, probably middle away. Probably knew after watching the last at bat if he takes a strike, Nick was going to go to work on him on the corners. So aggressive on the first pitch.
10th hit for Toronto.
They haven't had many opportunities tonight. 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position on the year, hitting .223 start of the game.
They've had at least 1 hit in every inning. 2 here in the 8th. They had 2 in the 7th. 1 in every other inning. And now the man to get is Russell Martin. Tying run at second. Go ahead run at first. First pitch strike. Martin walked and scored in the 2nd. Struck out in the 4th. Bounced into a double play in the 6th. Nick Vincent trying to get out of it here. And the 0-1. Back is ahead in the count. 0-2.
He has a couple of options. He can throw the cutter off the plate away or elevate the fastball up out of the strike zone. Not have to throw him a strike here.
2 on, 2 out. One-run lead. Mariners. 0-2 from Nick. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Nick Vincent gives up a couple of singles and strands him. We go to the home eighth. Mariners 3-2. Till the eighth inning. As we play here in the eighth inning, here's the seventh inning as Cano doubles, and then Valencia with an RBI single. And it's a new ball game at 2-2, and then Dyson a base hit to center. Scores Seager 3-2. Millard comes up throwing, guns down Valencia at the plate, but a good inning nonetheless for the Mariners. 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave a couple and had the lead. Joe Biagini is done for the evening.
7 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. They were earned. A couple of walks, 5 strikeouts, 98 pitches for him. He really threw the ball well. Nice job by the Mariners to get back in this game and take the lead. Aaron Loup will take over. 27 appearances, a 2.11 ERA, and 21 and a 30 has 24 strikeouts. Opponent hitting .235 against him. His fastball right around 92 miles an hour. Has a slider, curve, and change to go with it.
Ben Gamel leads off. Top of the order here for the Mariners. First pitch strike. Gamel .242 against lefty pitching. Well, the Blue Jays in the ninth. They'll have 8, 9, and 1 coming up. Strike 2.
Well, I'll tell you, you look at going through the middle of that lineup and the names that were walking home plate. What a job by Vincent. Gives up a couple of hits, but also strikes out 3.
Yeah.
And I thought he just made a ton of really good pitches.
How about Ben Gamel? 0-2 base hit out of the gate hard, going for extra bases. He's going to get there. Leadoff double. Ben Gamel, great hitting. 0-2. Just laces one to left to right field. That's beautiful. Second hit tonight for Ben, his 8th double of the season.
Well, we talked about him coming into the game, hitting .312. Stays on this breaking ball, little side armor, and hits it hard. Batista in right field, not able to keep it from going to the fence, so an easy double. We'll bring up Heredia. See if Scott Service wants him to bunt him along. Cano waiting on deck.
Already a .327 hitter against lefties.
Donaldson in on the grass. So is Smoke at first.
Already showing bunt. Hit that runner over. He gets it down and successful. Will be his first of the season. Oh, got him at third. Wow.
Gamel thought he beat it. I'll tell you what, he had a great read and a tremendous jump at second base.
Yeah, he
Just gets him.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the problem with it is Heredia, he had to bunt the ball to the third baseman. Make Donaldson come and pick the ball up. That way he can't get back to make the tag.
Thrown out at third is Gamble. Fielder's choice already is aboard. He's up Robbie Cano. Just missed a home run. Leading off the 7th. Just hit one totally out here. Why not? Upfield deep. Cano 242. Edwin Diaz is ready to pitch in the 9th. One out to Robbie. There's a strike. Two Mariners getting 2 in the 7th. Jump ahead of Toronto. 1-1 pitch here to Cano. Mariners have had a runner thrown out at third and a runner thrown out at the plate. 1-1 to Cano. 2-1. Nelson Cruz on deck. Nelly 0 for 3 tonight. Broken bat. Johnson throws out Cano. 2 away. That really exploded. Wow, that is ugly.
Fastball in off the plate. First 3 pitches away from him. Jams him. Oof. Yeah, just cuts it right in half. And they're just going to put Nelson Cruz on. That's the first time I've ever seen that.
But he went right from the
from the on deck circle to first base. Well, John Gibbons, the manager, put the 4 fingers right away and said, "Take your base," and so he did.
Yeah, he did.
Pinch runner Boot Powell going to run for him. Give Kyle Seager a chance to drive in a run.
Seager tonight. 2 flyouts, a walk and a run scored. A couple of big runs out there.
The Mariners are 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight.
Deal 1. 9-0-2.
A couple of pitches, fastballs in the middle of the plate. That last one elevated though. It was down just a little bit. Kyle probably square it up.
Got a battle here. 0-2. Did not chase it. Danny Valencia on deck. Kyle can keep it going. Already with good speed, and Powell good speed on the base paths. 1-2. Way outside. Nice save by Martin. Two. There's a base hit. Heredia motoring. He's going to score. 4-2 Mariners. Powell to third. Kyle Seager. A big RBI. The insurance tally the Mariners are looking for. RBI for Seager is 34th. Big hit.
And a good at bat. With Kyle, he gets a fastball. It's going to be on the outside corner, and he stays on it. Really good at bat when you consider he was behind 0-2 right away on a couple of fastballs, but stays on that one. Doesn't try to pull it or do too much with it. Just serve it in the left field and let the speed of Heredia take care of the rest of it.
Pitching change. Mariners got a little cushion here, looking to build it even bigger. 4-2 Seattle. Third Coors Light Silver Bullet Saturday is this weekend. How about tomorrow? First 400 fans, 21 and older. You get out to the pen during early happy hour, you're going to get a Silver Bullet Saturday t-shirt and extended happy hour pricing until first pitch. Former Mariner Dominic Leone takes over.
22 appearances, 3.86 ERA, 26 strikeouts, and 25 2/3. 10 walks. He can get wild at times. Opponent's hitting just .215. He's given up 3 home runs this year. Still has the good fastball at 94 miles an hour, a slider and a curveball to go with it. Valencia with a big base hit his last time up to drive in a run.
And he's 280 against right-hand pitching.
1 for 3 so far tonight.
6-man to the plate. A big RBI by Kyle Seager coming with 2 outs. Danny trying to build on it here. 4-2 lead. Two and 0. Dominic with the Mariners in the 14 and 15 seasons. 2-0 pitch. There's a strike.
He didn't give in to him. Threw him a slider. 2-0. Diaz has had plenty of time to get ready. He's trying to pace himself out into the bullpen now.
It's nice to see him up and getting ready. 4-2 lead. 2-1 here to Danny. Back. 2-2. Two pitch, runner goes, and did he go? Did not, as they checked with first base umpire Jeff Kellogg. And getting a stolen base, Kyle Seager.
I believe that is his first stolen base of the year.
Correct.
And for Kyle, if they're not going to pay attention, he takes off, and Danny able to check his swing.
That was close. Seager's first bag of the season. Base hit could mean 2. Payoff pitch here, 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Mariners pick up another run. Seager with a 2-out RBI single on a 2-2 pitch. Scoring is already, and the Mariners have a little bit of a cushion here as we go to the 9th inning. 4-2 Mariners. Good operation. Speaking of which, here's Mr. Diaz.
23 appearances, 9 saves, and 11 opportunities for him. Opponents hitting 182. And his fastball, as you can see, in the upper 90s with a hard slider.
Last saw Diaz Wednesday in the 6-5 win over the Twins. Quickly ahead of Carrera. Carrera, Goins, and Pilar eat 9 and 1. Diaz got the win on Wednesday, and a check down at third did not go since Tim Timmons. Diaz picked up the win Wednesday. That was the Zunino 2-out 2-run homer. 1-2 pitch. Two. On deck. 2-2 pitch from Edwin Diaz. Long run for Dyson. He's got it trapped. 1 out.
And for Diaz, Did exactly what he needed to do. Gets ahead early, misses with a couple of pitches, and then throws his fastball right in the middle of the plate. They can put it in play. Doesn't want to walk anybody.
I remember he had that stretch earlier, but he couldn't find a plate there for a while.
You mentioned that's why it's so important to get that second run. It gives him the opportunity to be more aggressive in the middle of the plate.
Strike one. Ryan Goins, RBI fielder's choice in the second, a strikeout in the fourth, a ground out in the seventh.
His best fastball so far, 98 miles an hour.
Some serious heat at 100. We've seen a lot of guys can chuck it up there. That's an easy 100.
It's a lot of arm speed.
My goodness. The 0-2 pitch. Fouled it back.
101.
He's feeling good.
I'm impressed he was able to foul it back up out of the strike zone
Good
like
call.
that.
Yeah. Diaz. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. 2 down.
Gets him on the first slider of the inning. After a couple of pitches at 100 and 101 at the top of the zone, he throws the slider. Gets him to swing right over the top of it. And he's excited about it.
Top of the order, Kevin Pillar. First pitch, strike. This is Sunday in Toronto, May 14th. Remember that. So does Eddie. Here's the 0-1. 0-2.
At this point, he's not trying to hit corners. He was just reaching back and throwing it hard. 99 on that last fastball in the middle of the plate.
Edwin Diaz, 0-2. Rock and roll, struck him out. Game over. Mariners win it 4-2. They're back to 531 and 31 with their first victory against the Blue Jays.
Gerard Dyson with a big night, couple of hits, drove in a run, scored a run for the Mariners. Sam Gaviglio, don't forget about Sam. He went 6 innings, giving up just 2 runs. And then the bullpen. Turn it over to the bullpen. These guys have been terrific, including Diaz, picking up his 10th save on the season.
2 hours and 53 minutes on this one. Mariners back to 500, third time this year. Going to try to get over 500 tomorrow. For Mike Blowers, I'm Dave Sims. Mariners postgame presented by Alaska Airlines starts right now with Brad and Dave.
Gentlemen, thank you. There is the man of the hour, Gerard Dyson, making that great play in the outfield there.